What's up guys, welcome to brobeatz, and today I'm going to be showing you guys the big 3 types of sounds you need in order to make a good melody every time. If you guys don't sub already, turn those on, do so, go those up with a light. Let's hop right into it. So BPM a little higher if you want to follow along with like the actual melody making. So I have an EQ here so I can explain some things, so this will just be on top. Let's grab in a scale and get started. So I'm gonna just default to my F sharp minor because it's my favorite scale, and let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so we're going to talk about our high energy sounds, and this is pretty self-explanatory. It's pretty much any sounds that take up like the higher ends. So this is an extreme example. Alright, like this is like super piercing to the ears, and a piano will be on the other side of it where it's like very smooth on the ears, but it will still be a high energy type of sound. So that's just kind of an example. Obviously I can't go over every single sound in the world, but those are just 2 examples of sounds that could work. Now I would not pick sounds based on the EQ 100%, okay, because I'll explain later why, but sounds are very different. They have timbres and different characteristics, so you don't want to just pick it based on the EQ all the time. You want to kind of go by ear. So let's make a melody, and with the melody I want to show you how to keep everything flowing so that is one melody and nothing is clashing. So we are in F sharp. Let's make a chord backwards just to make this easy, +1, and I'm just use a lot of tricks here, and then we just throw some chords in like this and then open them up. Now what we would want to do here is not just let me just throw millions of notes in here. What you want to do is flow your notes to this chord. All right, so say if I have a melody, right, and let's see, something like that, right, it will come back up to this note, right, or you could pick a note inside of this, right, and if we repeat that kind of rhythm, we can get a catchy melody. So let's make our own little melody. And if we take this is a chord like this. I'm just using tricks here just to make this faster. Let's make a chord backwards. I don't like the length of those. Okay. All right, so now we can just build everything back up, and we want to keep the same rhythm. Okay, you don't have to do this, but you kind of need to know what you're doing to kind of go outside of it. But yeah, so keep the same rhythms. Let's see. Bring that over. Okay, and then now we want to hit our little chord here. Right, because your chords they're the foundation of your melody, right? That's what makes the bounce happen when you add drums and all that stuff. We could just do something like this. Okay, right, so now this is our melody. Like, this is the melody, so everything we do should support this. We shouldn't try to make a different melody. So I'm gonna just quickly fast forward and just add some variation real quick. All right, so for this little thing up here, I pretty much just took this and then put this note back in, and then just made a chord backwards to get like that harmony. So I'll play it one time through. Okay, so it is key to remember that we want everything to follow this. We don't want to add stuff in that clash against this main rhythm, or we will get 2 clashing different melodies. All right. Okay, next up we have whale noises, or you can call them muffled noises, whatever. And I just use these terms because they're easier to remember rather than like super technical stuff. So whale noises, yes, they're called whale noises because that's what they sound like. They sound like whales, and they're pretty muffled, and the EQ would look like this if you were to make it yourself. So I'll just play. Oops. And this is somewhat of what it would sound like in the frequencies it would take up. Okay, now you got to be careful because pianos also take up this area as well, so that's why I said I wouldn't use this to pick sounds. Okay, so let's make this, and I'm gonna just copy this down and I'm gonna fast forward through this tedious stuff. I'm gonna just strip it until it's like the bass chords. Okay, so I just went ahead and stripped it. I didn't really add anything. I just left a few of these notes in so it has a little life to it. It's not just straight chords. But when I play these together, you'll kind of see, and I'll turn it off and on. Oops, we gotta pull it down an octave. Now, when we had it up here, and I'll explain this later, this is where you can add your glue. Because you can see this sounds, it's not exact and higher energy sound, right? So we can get away with adding counters with this. So let's go ahead and actually go over that. This next one, I'll just play this real quick so you can hear it. Oops. You can see it has a lot more life with just adding these in, and this is really, really important. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Okay, so now we're going to talk about glue or bridge type of sounds. So this will be like counter melodies or accents, stuff like that. So how to actually add these in. Okay, so pretty much you would take the difference between your high energy and whale noises. Now it's not going to be exact because you can't control the exact frequency of every single sound, but you would click this, right? And this would be a higher end sound in my opinion. So you can kind of drag this over, and then this one, and this is a lot more clear. So right here. All right, and then our other sounds should probably be somewhere in between here. Like it could be really close or really far off. But of course they're full sounds, so they'll kind of have frequencies everywhere, but typically they should kind of fit somewhere in here. Okay, so if we play this one, you can see spot on right here, right? And then our next sound, right, it's kind of in here, like a little bit over here, but it's somewhere in between, right? So this is a way you can check, but I wouldn't use, like I said, I would not use this to pick the sounds. Here you can kind of check if you have any mixing issues, but this is kind of how you can sound select a little bit. So I'm gonna go ahead and make melodies on these. I'm gonna fast forward a little bit because we already spent a lot of time. And then we can come back and check these, and I'll just delete this. All right. So with this, what I'm gonna do, since I'm gonna just be lazy on this one, pull this up an octave, and pretty much I'm gonna just play around with like some of these notes. So I'm gonna just, oops, let's just play these two. Do something like that. Pull these up. I'm trying to go fast. Then we have our variation. If we go down, oops, if we go down from there. And all right, I'm gonna fast forward through the rest. All right, and then we could do these real quick. Let's take this E. You can see this sound is kind of under it, and I'm gonna use this, and then we can try like a sound. I'll just leave it here. Just go down. We don't gotta spend too much time. I'm gonna delete this anyway. All right. Okay, so that is an example of how to use the glue or bridge sounds. You got to be wary of the octave as well. Okay, so now we just add our bass in and just finish the melody. Okay, so lastly, we're just going to add our bass in, and this is pretty simple. Okay, so that is our bass. So with all of this together, you have covered everything, right? Like you have a verse area, like a low area, kind of like a bridge area, and you have like your chorus or your hook. Once you implement all these sounds, I'll just play these. right? And that can be kind of a verse area, and then we add these sounds in, you have like a full. Okay, and notice we have no melodies that are clashing because we kind of follow this and we use this as our blueprint. Okay, and keep in mind we have no mixing here either, so you would add effects and stuff to make it sound a lot better. But that's gonna be it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed. Make sure you like and subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.